Hello, everybody, and welcome to another all-new episode of BrickFeed. This week it's episode 138, and we're gonna talk about the Avatar: The Way of Water sets. I'm Sakota.
I'm Leo.
I'm Starbreaker.
And welcome to the all-new BrickFeed. So, how's it going, everyone?
It's going good.
Alive.
The weather outside is frightful. Been hit with a pretty solidly sized and apparently long overdue winter storm, but I'm here, I'm alive, and not as cold as I thought I would be.
That's good. Yeah.
A hurricane avoided me, so I'm all good.
Good.
I mean, I feel like I'm the only one here without like disastrous weather, so
It's probably for the better.
yeah.
Great, yeah. Gonna fly out to the brisk middle of nowhere. But yeah, unlike the snow, I have no idea where I was going with this segue. Help me. I am out of practice too, it seems.
It's yeah. I don't know how
Avatar
long
is
it's
a
been
thing.
since our last one. Yeah.
Avatar's the thing, yeah.
Was
Avatar.
our last BrickFeed on Avatar as well, or was it something
No,
else?
it's been quite a while since we talked about the first wave. The last one was Marvel.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. But
I remember now.
yeah, we had a brick feed about the first wave of Avatar sets today. Or like earlier. Was it earlier this week? I think it was last week, right? We got the
It was earlier
reveal
last week,
of the new set wave, which is coming out next year. For the second movie, Avatar: The Way of Water. These are quite exciting and quite interesting. But before we get into the sets, real quick, the plugs.
Oh,
We're
boy.
the TTV channel. If you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/the TTV channel for as little as $1 a month. You can join our Patreon Discord server. You can see live on the stream. You can also go to the TTV message boards for all things Lego. You can discuss everything there. It's a fun time. And if you want to be updated on all the latest live stream announcements, you can go to twitter.com/the TTV channel. Righty.
Don't forget about the best plug, the fact that the Toa Mata have European electrical socket plug hands.
You are right.
Yeah, it's actually a reference to Buriki, the Toa of electricity.
Oh my
No.
god, it all circles back together.
Yeah, Buriki's the key. All right, are you all ready to get into these sets?
Mm-hmm.
I sure am.
Yes.
Yep.
I was super stoked to have received the last.
Yeah, Zach, you have a lot of
the first-
experience with these.
Yeah, the first movie sets for Avatar were really, really solid. So seeing them have such a quick turnaround with, all right, Way of the Water sets, on one hand, called it. On the other, really pleasantly surprised with how these are shaping up.
Yeah. I think you can very much tell that they put a lot of effort into these. So I'm
There's
excited.
actually some elements that make me feel like the first movie sets were kind of like a quick like afterthought, whereas the Way of the Water sets were the ones that they were mainly focusing on.
Yeah, I mean, the first movie came out a long time ago.
Yeah.
And these are like, well, the movie that's actually coming out right now. So,
Yeah,
It's-
which I mean, they did do like re-showings and whatnot, but it is like I don't want to detract from the effort that was put into the sets for the first movie, because they are all really solid. I've got my gripes about them, and yeah, whatever, but especially like the wildlife is really, really well done, and I think that I just personally, upon looking at these newer set reveals, it felt to me that they were more the prototypes, the warm up, so they could really get to the meat and potatoes of the new sets. But yeah,
I think we'll get a lot more into the details of these once we go into the actual sets. But I'm very glad you're here because you're like you have experience with all the first wave of sets, so
Yeah.
you can compare them well.
I
And-
drag GL in here, but she is currently taking photos of the gorgeous skyline for a winter sunset right now because she's not used to this amount of snow or really any snow. So
That's nice too.
That's good.
Yeah. All right, our first set is set number 75575, and I'm sorry if I pronounce any of these names incorrectly because a lot of them are very weird. Ilu Discovery. This set has 179 pieces and goes for $29.99. So, what you think?
Ouch. Payment wise, like always,
Yeah,
the price per part ratio has gone up. I think in this wave compared to the last one.
I think it's
And
just
I think
like
it's comparable.
I think
Yeah.
it's also probably just affected by the price hikes all Lego got this year.
That as
Um,
well. It does have a lot of new elements as well. I believe the head at least.
The head is
And-
new, yeah.
and the printed sheets. Those would, I don't know what those would be called.
Yeah, the vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I still think the price is quite high for this one.
Mhm.
There are Star Wars sets which you can say like, yeah, they're kind of comparable, like price per piece wise, but that's like
Mhm.
you don't want to have to make comparisons like that because Star
Yeah,
Wars oftentimes
usually-
is very
Let me s-
very bad already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually it's the battle packs, I believe,
Yeah,
that are
That's-
on that price range, like the bigger, bulkier ones, and it's like not a good comparison. Well, it's not something you want to be compared to.
yeah. What I think is very interesting here, which is also in some of the other sets, is that we get like normal sized minifigures for the kids of the Navi, Pandorans.
Well,
Yeah.
the one writing on the creature has
Yeah, even has like the mid
the short
legs.
legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the
Mhm.
other one has regular old minifig legs, which is bizarre, but yeah, I guess that is really cool.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Like a lot of people had complaints about the original minifigures, like with the long
Mhm.
legs. I think it makes sense to do it like that, because of their size in the movie, and like with this being for the kids, I think it's just a very smart use of like the Lego minifigure system. So, I really like that.
I do think it is clever. I gotta say though that especially in comparison to the Banshees from the first movie, I think
Yeah.
that they kind of refined the core body build a little bit. But I feel like this one personally is a little bit disappointing, especially compared to those, because those ones had like big flappable wings up front. Like it's just, obviously it's difference in creature design,
Yeah.
but it does come across as a little bit underwhelming, especially compared to the Banshees, because one, you're only getting one, and I guess it's on track for being about the price for one of those Banshees, because if I'm remembering right, the Banshee set was $50. So this being half of that is, yeah, you're getting one creature and the two minifigures. But the creature feels lesser, even if it has this like a same or similar price count, strictly because it doesn't have those large vinyl front wings. And for that, it takes that price and makes it hurt even just a little bit more for me. That being said, though, like I do like that they continue to iterate upon the Banshee design, because I adore those builds, because they're as compact and mid-sized as they are. They cram in a lot of detail and capture a lot of the important aesthetic of the creature. So yeah, I'm torn on this one. I like it, but I don't like it as much as the Banshees.
So I looked it up. The Banshees were 60, both of them.
60,
But they had a bit of more substantial side build too. But you can kind of tell that they're a bit bigger as well. I think it's I think yes. I personally also think the Banshee looks a lot nicer. because of the big wings. This is of course just a different creature, so you can't just
this isn't. Yeah, you can't just translate it over.
You can't
it
just
isn't,
make it a banshee.
Most of the
Yeah.
wave here is going to be underwater creatures, I believe. So
Yeah, or like at least
I guess
water related creatures.
Yeah.
I guess for me then that comes down to what I will perceive as a fault of the creature design of the movie, because this is, for all intents and purposes, just the water banshee. It is the water variant. I find it not quite as cool as the banshees are, but I also haven't really seen it in the movie because I haven't seen the movie, so maybe my opinion will change later, but for now I like the banshees more.
I like that they brought back those vinyl designs. Those look really good. What I do wish, and I mean this is as much a criticism with these as it is like with the first wave, I'm not really a fan of like the little ball pieces sticking out.
No, absolutely.
With those.
I can't remember if I
ours-
talked about this in my review or
I
not.
think you
but
did, yeah.
I really think they should have just used the stud pins and then the other studs with like the smaller pin sticking out of it, so you get a nice flat profile on top of them. Because
they did do stuff like that in some Ninjago dragons before. And I think it would.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it was like on Chompy/Woos Battle Dragon from Mass of the Mountain. They did like using the inverse like that pin piece. I don't know the exact name.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it either, but I do wish that they went with that here.
Yeah, because they have a lot of creatures using that kind of build, and that would be like the time to do something like that. Especially since these are very much also like they are playsets that have also like display stands, so they want you to display them as well. They want them to look as nice as possible.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I look at those and I think mocap suit. Like
the dots. Yeah.
it's very distracting. So I'm sure there's probably some kind of technical reason for it. Maybe they found some kind of fault in doubling up on the parts to have them locked in there, or they felt it artificially inflated the price of it.
Yeah, it saves on parts. Because with the other technique, you always need 2 parts instead of 1.
Yeah, they also all have different colors of vinyl, so it would require them to produce those pieces in more colors than they currently have, I imagine. So I still feel like as if they would have at least done it in black, or I'm fairly certain they have this part in black already.
Yeah, they do.
Or yellow. I'm almost positive they have it in yellow as well.
They do have both.
Yeah, so I really wish they would have done that, but
yeah.
The coral's nice.
Yeah, I mean that's something we can talk again about. They have like these little scenery pieces again, which are great for display, and all of these are like underwater landscapes.
They feel very reminiscent of the ones included with the little Mario blind bags, honestly.
Oh yeah,
little side
it was definitely my biggest gripe with the first Avatar sets, was just how kind of small the extra set pieces were. I understand that they are there to add a little pizzazz to your display, hide the fact that you're making it a display stand, and make the set piece look complete. In the case of the first Avatar movie sets, I don't feel like they worked, because you had these huge, grandiose floating mountains contrasted by these boulders that were barely the size of the minifigures themselves in the sets. Here, though, I am inclined to feel a little bit differently, because I feel like small croppings up of coral and sea fauna, I feel like that works a little bit better, because the appeal is these are underwater. And so you're visualizing these underwater. Shoot, maybe you're displaying it behind a piece of blue plastic or something to get that look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I like them more here than I did in the first set waves, just off of first glances alone. But I think my biggest complaint about them is still that they are kind of small and incomplete feeling.
I totally get what you mean. Like, if it's like, if the side bill is like the floating mountains, it's in the movie, it's like a giant, grandiose structure.
Yeah.
But if your side build is just like a bunch of corals and underwater stuff, you could like the ocean floor is not like completely covered and stuff like that. You could just like spread it out.
Exactly. Yeah. And most of the time, you're not even on the ocean floor. You're either close to the water surface or whatever else. So, like, for this, it works because you're not so constantly surrounded by a huge jungle and X, Y, and Z. So, yeah.
I think the only thing that kind of would have benefited it if it went with a different color, at least like blue or something, to make it fit in with the ocean, because
I mean,
it's kind of like a
the pinkish pieces or
I meant the axle. The
yeah,
holding it up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
100% agree.
yeah.
Especially since we've gotten at least the axles in variations of red and yellow. So I know for a fact they're branching out to try other colors.
There's
cover
a
cohesion or
pretty
whatever.
large like amount of colors on BrickLink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
haven't they done like a green one now too?
Over the years, they have done
Green,
all
yeah.
kinds.
They've
of
done a lot. I
colors
don't know
for
why
these.
they went with that here.
It's
I thought
it's
that there
often
was transparent, but that was in Mega. That's why.
No, they actually do come in transparent, or they did.
Oh, do they?
I think
At
it's
some
actually
point,
yeah. I have one. But
okay.
Dang.
but it's oftentimes when it's stuff like that, it's to think of like, are they currently available in that color?
Yeah, exactly.
Because if they came out like in that color a couple of years ago, it doesn't mean they're still in production, and like they won't necessarily like start producing the piece in that color again just for like one set. But I mean, for like a whole range like this, they could have maybe produced it in like a light blue or transparent or something like that. Yeah.
I personally would have appreciated that, especially since we're already going as far as to get unique head molds and vinyl cuts.
Yeah.
I personally would have appreciated seeing like change in color for the stands.
Yeah, that would have been really nice. I mean, you can BrickLink the transparent one and replace it. All right. Do you want to move on to the next set, or anything you want to add for this one?
I think my thoughts are about wrapped up.
Yeah,
I think it's just like a step below the old Banshee flyer with
Is it the same head mold?
Of the lower jaw looks the same. The top one's different.
Yeah, the top one's new
because the top one has like a horn to go with it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I'm honestly super pleasantly surprised they're going with new top head molds, because this one, even still, like I love the thought of them doing like dragons or whatever using this current head mold. So if
with this
Ninjago
head
gets
mold,
new dragons or another like castle or night theme does them, this would be awesome for like the $20 to $40 range mid-sized dragon build. And I'm glad to see them capitalizing on continuing to make new variations of it so they can do that in the future.
With this set, like, just looking at it would make a great like eel or something.
For sure.
And I really do hope, because all of these creature sets in this wave have new head molds, and I really hope they find other cool uses for those too, because they're very nice pieces and they have some great printing here too. And I feel like with like some different printing, you could make all kinds of cool creatures with them.
Oh, for sure. And I do have more thoughts on that, but I'll wait until we get to a couple later sets before I start talking about them.
All right, then let's move on to the next one. We have set number 75576, the Skimwing Adventure, with 259 pieces going for $34.99.
It's again iterating upon that same kind of creature design that they previously established there. I like that it's got a segmented body. It looks like it's using those like those old creator ratchet joints.
The hinge
for that.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which on one hand I like because you get adaptable posability there, but on the other, I kind of wish that they had used ball and socket for more enhanced posability. I'm sure that there's some longevity issues with ball and socket because there tends to be.
Yeah, or maybe they just don't want it to like wiggle around if you take it or something. But yeah.
Yeah, but I do appreciate them adding the ability to move the torso at least a little bit here, especially with a set that's so long. I like that they're continuing with having these really awesomely patterned vinyl wings. Unfortunately, it does look like they're using the mocap balls on them again.
Yeah.
But past that, it basically looks like it could be the Pokemon evolution of the previous set.
So I was in the cinema yesterday, and they played the trailer for Avatar: Way of Water. This creature is like very prominent in the trailer, and I think like looking at that, they captured it quite well. I'd say, like the pattern, the head shape, the general shape of the creature. I think they're pretty. Like in a Lego scale and that scale for minifigures, they did a very good job capturing that.
Talking about the Technic piece, there's a red one on this set on the lower wing.
Yeah.
So
as well as a red axle on the first wing.
Yeah, they did have the parts. Well, they could have, but they chose not to. Which
I mean, I feel like if you did the stand in red, it would look even
it would
worse.
Be kind of. It would have to be something else.
That would look a little strange.
I do find it bizarre that they gave a regular crossbow for this for Jake Sully here. When I know we have the don't we have the Chewbacca crossbow that shoots at studs, and then there's a new. I think there's a new bow piece in one of the sets as well.
There's a bow piece in the next one. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if he uses a crossbow in the movie.
Exactly, but it's weird that they include like a play feature like that in a more expensive set and not in the cheaper set. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I didn't really touch upon this in my reviews of the first sets, but I did find it bizarre that we didn't get really like the primitive style bow with the Na'vi. We got like basically the same medieval bow piece that was used for basic. We've had it forever, so I did find it a little odd, especially when thrown in with things like, now we've got this crossbow here. So do they legitimately have a crossbow in the movie? I'm going to be curious to see how that shapes up, because I feel like there are like weapon inconsistency and inaccuracies among the Na'vi and whoever these new folk are. Aside from the spears, like the spears, the Lego formula for them has pretty much been the same always. Lightsaber handle piece, blade piece at the tip, and X, Y, and Z. I like that they're using different colors of brown for that.
Yeah, that makes it look
especially
quite
with
nice.
Crystal piece for the spearhead there. But I'm curious to see the movie so that I can look back on these and judge their figure accuracy.
I think there's always like Lego minifigures are like inherently stylized, so I don't really have a problem with them like using the standard Lego crossbow, even if in the movie it looks like all ornate or more primitive or whatever. It's for me that's just like, it's the style of a minifigure, and for a minifigure a crossbow looks like this. It sometimes gets a bit weird if they like specialize some equipment and not others. But for here it doesn't really bother me personally, but I don't know if he even uses a crossbow in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have to see.
We won't know for another month.
I do find it clever and funny that they're using like that translucent stand piece on top of the coral to imitate Jake swimming here. At least I'm assuming that's Jake. It looks like he's got the same.
It is Jake. It is Jake.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it shows it on the box, but I do think
didn't-
that's kind of cool and funny at the same time because you can't exactly tilt a minifigure's face upwards. So swimming has always been something that I've found super awkward for minifigures,
Mhm.
but I think this is a fine enough substitute, especially because it's imitating and mirroring the Technic stands they're using for the creatures here.
When I first saw the image that we have here, I thought he was just posing in the background with one leg up, and then I looked at it closer. I'm like, oh, he's on this little minifig stand. It's actually really cool. uh, the fish, is that a new color for the fish? I know it was in the last set, but I forgot to ask.
That spring green. I think we had that before, but I'm not 100% sure. What is new though about the fish is they have the 1x1 clip piece in trans clear that attaches them to like these mini builds, and I'm very excited about that.
That is actually really cool.
That's actually really nice.
Yeah.
Any translucent parts in new colors are something that I always
Yeah, and
try to
especially
pick
like
up as soon as possible.
common pieces like this.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of like, if you want to have stuff fly around in like a Lego mock, it's always great to have like transparent pieces.
Yeah, now with
hold
transparent, it
them.
makes it significantly better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Something
is good. I'm glad.
else I wanna note upon with the stand here is a previous complaint I had with the first set wave stands was they were too bright in Lego color to really imitate the contrast of like the dark muted jungle versus the bright like bioluminescent bits of Pandora. And so you just ended up with this very like it's obviously Lego coloration, but it felt way too much. It didn't feel coherent. It felt like messy, like dumping out a bin of bricks on the table and just picking random colors. Here, though, because they are using a mix of darker and lighter shades, it works so much better. I like these seafloor mini builds so much more because of the color diversity they're using, and also because I think it just comes with the territory of like coral and seafloor colors. Just that color palette works a lot better in Lego than what they did for the first sets there. So this is a huge improvement to me, even if the builds are like pretty comparable.
What I do like to add on that, I do really like that they use the dark blue as the basis for these ocean floor builds.
Absolutely.
Because it's like supposed to be the ocean floor, so it's like deep dark down.
Yeah, that was.
So it makes sense to use the darker blue instead of like using the medium azure, for example.
Yes. Oh, I would not have been happy if they did that. Especially, they used like the standard Lego green for the base plates in the first set wave. Nothing wrong with the color, but it was just way too bright. You pull up any screenshot from the first Avatar movie, and it's a dark forest green. It is a deep colored green. So having everything be such a bright color, and then you throw in more bright colors, it just was. This is a significant improvement. So I'm very happy to see it.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the price for this one? I feel like it's still,
I forgot to mention that. It's
still pretty high, of course, to what we're used to before.
You are getting a specialized head though, and
and I feel like size-wise, it doesn't seem that unreasonable for me. But
I don't think it's. I don't know. It is.
It is well within range for a super fan of the movie.
It is. It does feel like it is $10 more expensive than it should be, but
yes,
that's just how everything is trending.
I feel like that's just like the way Lego is nowadays.
Unfortunately, this is the way. The good thing bringing up the head mold there too. I like that they're again iterating with new head mold pieces here because they could easily use this for more sea life or like creator style builds in the future too. Like
the head mold really reminds me of this weird old canister dinosaur set I had years ago. And
yeah, from like
it's similar coloring. Yes, it's super similar in coloring, and I'm just like, is that not a piece that existed? To check.
I mean, it's a lot wider and bigger. But...
Yeah, but it is very similar to me, and I'm like, that is creepy. But I'm kind of happy. I might pick it up just for that to remind myself of that.
It is pretty solid. Have we gotten the like the Bionicle Technic wing piece that's used for the tail there. Have we gotten that in sand blue before? Because I don't remember it.
I don't think we have it in sand blue already.
I don't believe so.
It came out in a different blue in a Technic set, but I don't think we've gotten it in this color. Also,
Same with that helicopter blade piece.
The helicopter blade. So nice recolors, and I also think that's a really nice construction. It's very simple, but works well for sure. That back fin.
Yeah, and because it is sand blue, I feel like the gray that goes with it it's not distracting at all, even with like the light gray and dark gray bushings right there. Overall, this is
a solid set.
Yeah, it's solid. I don't feel it is yet as iconic as the Banshees, but depending on how the movie goes, I feel like it has potential to probably be one of the most go ahead and grab this kind of sets in the wave.
Yeah.
Just for its pretty solid construction and wide variety of colors, just like it's just very well rounded.
Yeah. Okay. You guys ready for the next set?
Yes.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Next up, we have set number 75577, Mako submarine. Or is it Mako?
I think it's a Mako, like the Mako shark.
Yeah, makes sense. Right. It's 553 pieces, going for $59.99.
Price isn't that bad.
Yeah, that's I think that's the best price per piece ratio we have in this wave.
Yeah, for everything that's thrown in here, I think that's probably it's far and away the best I've seen so far.
Yeah, it has a lot of pieces. A lot of like uniquely colored pieces. I know the manta ray stingray is a new color because I looked that up.
A new print too. Yeah.
Yeah, a new print. I don't know if that's a new color for the bananas that they're using upside down.
I want to say no, because I think they used them in in the Minions set, I think.
It's actually a good point.
But I'm not 100% sure. I think it's a new color for the carrot piece though.
Yeah, there is a lot of just bizarrely colored pieces here that are used in ways I didn't think would be used.
I love how they use
so well though.
I love how they use like the cupcake, like sea life
barnacles.
Yeah, if they use stuff like this in the other like fake like little displays of like patches of coral and stuff, I think it would bring the other sets a little bit more to life. But I get why they didn't as well. It is limited in parts for smaller sets, but this does feel a lot more substantial on the side builds because you get the big submarine and then you get a pretty big little like cave looking thing.
Yeah, side builds in this one are pretty take up a big part of the I'd say like budget, I guess. But they look very nice. It's just maybe a thing of like, what if you buy this set, it's probably for the submarine, right? So maybe some people would have preferred the submarine to be like 50 and then like leave out 2 of the smaller side builds, for example. Yeah, it is what it is.
I've got a picture of the box here.
I have one too.
I just posted it in the Patreon chat. Oh. I want to direct everyone's attention to the third minifigure shown at the bottom there. RDA Quaritch.
I have the minifigures, I think.
Quaritch died in the first movie. What is going on here?
I mean, it seems like he probably got his like
conscious
uploaded into an avatar, right?
I am very curious to see why and how they do that, because I felt he was a very solid standalone character. So them bringing him back, I'm gonna have to see how they execute that, because I really don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Not to derail talk about the set there, but
no, I mean we can talk about that.
I find that incredibly strange.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be interesting to see how the movie handles it. first instinct, I'm not a fan of that as a plot point. But I mean, if they
They'll
do
have
it well,
to pull it off really
yeah.
well.
It's also interesting to see once again with the scale thing here. We have a human child in this one, the character named Spider, with like blue markings and like the oxygen mask, which is also quite interesting. So it's another instance of Lego sets kind of maybe spoiling or at least teasing lots of things about the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid was shown off in one of the trailers. I'm
Yeah.
pretty
He was.
sure it's implied that he's adopted by
Yeah,
the Na'vi.
I think like Jake adopts him.
Mm-hmm.
I think even Cordage is in one of the trailers, but it doesn't look like him. You know, he's not named.
Okay.
It's weird. I remember seeing an avatar with like the military vest on.
Gotcha.
Something to point out about these sets as well is, at least up to now, there has not been a single repeated minifigure, and the only two sets to have a repeating minifigure are the next two.
Good, because the the first set wave, like Jake was in almost every set.
Yeah, I mean there wasn't a lot of other characters to really use. I'm glad they're using more here, with all unique printing to some extent.
It's definitely good.
One thing I want to say about the submarine itself is I think it looks very nice. It's cool that we get like some military style builds, but the gaps in the front for a submarine are
that's
very,
what I was about to say.
Very not great.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is something that's like maybe they're not actually fully closed. I haven't seen any trailers showing off the submarine, so
yeah,
I don't know
but I'm
if it's
pretty
something
sure
where it's supposed
it
to be
would
letting
be
in water
fully
or not,
closed, right?
Yeah, it should be fully closed.
I really wish they did something else here. Some
it might
kind
be
of other construction.
Yeah, it might be that it's like it has like the big glass dome on the front, so that where like nothing is would be glass in the movie, and that's not really something you could build easily. But it just looks very weird if it's just open on one side and it's supposed to be a submarine.
Especially because they've got that plate there covering part of
like,
the front cockpit.
Yeah,
they could have just changed that up a bit, maybe threw in like some translucent tiling or another cockpit piece on the side there. I can think of a bunch of other ways they could have done this personally, and
it looks a bit like
I'm sure there was some kind of constrictions here, or maybe it's just the design of how it is in the movie. I haven't seen it yet, so I won't judge it too harshly, but I do not like how open this looks.
Yeah.
Also, that bow.
That bow is really cool.
I find it weird.
You find it weird? I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It can shoot the piece. I always like that. I liked when they did it with the crossbow with Chewie.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is cool that it is a thing now. Don't know why it wasn't included in other sets or in. I mean, I know it's new, but
yeah,
it would be nice if it was in the last wave or in like the last two sets. But
maybe they're testing to see how well received it is, because maybe you'll get half people that are like, stud shooters should die, and then you get the other half that are like, this is nice. I'm firmly in the middle on that.
I mean, it looks a bit clunky with the big like
that's my biggest complaint is how it looks.
But I feel like it's like the functionality outweighs it, but
it looks clunky on like this is like a normal sized minifigure, so I'm assuming on the larger Avatar ones they would look a little better, but this so it looks a bit clunky on a regular old guy.
Right.
But I don't think there's really
gripes aside. It's probably
it's probably the best value out of any of these.
Yeah, you get a ton of sand green parts, which I'm glad to see are becoming a little more commonplace. Really solid and vibrantly colored side pieces here. That I mean, I feel again I feel like the set piece path they're choosing here works better with undersea life than it does with the Pandoran surface.
I feel they
I
translated
like
it much better. Yeah.
I also like a
It's-
lot how it looks on the display stand, like with the angle. It very much looks like something it's diving down and very dynamic.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about all I've got to say on it.
Then I'll move on to the next one. Set number 75578. Metkayina reef home. I have no idea how to pronounce that. 528 pieces for $79.99.
Oof.
Ouch. Yeah, that's really that's painful.
That's pricey.
Look, I appreciate that this is doing something that I wish that the first Avatar set wave did a little more of. Like I personally feel the first Avatar set wave should have had an entire set dedicated to
their homes.
Basically just like one of the homes, like
Yeah.
throw in those like hammocks that they sleep in, or like just I know we got the Tree of Souls. I know we got that stone archway or whatever. I really feel if they would have made like maybe $150 set of just like it's a floating island. Basically, that's it. Focus all your attention and detail making a large, solid floating island, and then add that functionality of you can stick the other sets on it. That to me would have made the first set wave feel a little more complete. For this here, we've already gotten a bunch of those like underwater reef things. This is a nice little surface kayak build kind of thing that they're working on here. It's got the little boat, it's got the little like dock thing so they can go off to the water, and then the underwater builds, of course. It's a downsized version of what I feel like the Tree of Souls and the lab set from the first wave was trying to do. I feel like it works a little bit better, but God, that price per part ratio, $80 for 530 pieces.
It is very
Yikes.
painful. Yeah,
I like the set like a lot. I really like how it looks with the vinyl things is like the cloth. I like how they did like the water surface in a bright blue, and then like the ocean floor in the dark blue with the corals and all that.
Absolutely.
That price is really hard to justify.
Yeah. Shout out to Toa Plastic in the Patreon chat. Gakoro indeed. This is a really definitely invoking those vibes here from Manog. Yeah. I feel like it suffers from using those really large structural support pieces on the bottom, because that's likely what is eating up a large chunk of the price while also lowering the parts count. I'm sure it's a lot easier to build those things with those large structure support pieces, and it definitely looks pretty nice. I would have rather we gotten just like building bricks to at least make it look like we're getting like the better price per part ratio.
I mean,
throw in those same kinds of builds that we've been seeing in the other
I
sets,
don't know. I feel
larger
like
rock structures or something. I think it would have made it just a little more palatable if this was maybe at least like a 650 piece set.
Yeah, but that would have increased the price.
Yeah, it would have increased the price. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know how they judge price per part when it comes to these larger like tube pieces or the large rock structure pieces, though. Like if it balanced each other out so it was the same price, but we ended up with 650 pieces, I would look at that and go, tough sell, but I suppose it's fair. Whereas I look at this and I go, I don't really want to pay $80 for some tarping and tree stumps.
The fact that it's also less pieces than the sub, and it's significantly more than the sub, is like, okay.
For me, it's not just like about the piece count necessarily. It's also like thinking about the volume of stuff you get.
Yeah.
But it's very like hollow
a
in a
detailed
lot of
plank
ways.
of wood.
Yeah,
it
Detailed
feels
plank of wood. I don't
This-
want to detract from the ingenuity that went into this
No,
set because
I
there's
agree.
definitely a lot of clever building here, and it does feel really intricately detailed and fleshed out. I mean, they've even got one of those. It looks like one of those Super Mario base plate pieces.
Yeah. They built
Yes.
one of those into it, which is pretty smart.
I'm glad
Yeah.
they're actually using those for something that's
But-
not Mario.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
just
I just think like if you look at this and try to imagine it without the vinyl pieces, it's just like two plates and with like
Yeah.
pillars, which I don't think is a problem by itself. I think it looks
No.
very nice with the vinyl pieces on it, and I think
Mhm.
it's very detailed and a cool set. But I just think this one is just too expensive.
Yeah,
If it
I
ever
agree.
goes on a good discount, maybe I'd get it because I really like it. But
Mhm.
I can't justify that price personally.
I can't either. There's nothing really here that makes me look at this and go, "Oh, I want to get this for this part or this character or X, Y, and Z." I don't. Are there any recolors that are like immediately visible here? We have a lot
No.
of like wood colored
that,
stuff, and then a lot of similar.
Is
to...
that the piece on the kayak canoe, the one with the rubber tip? Is that new?
No,
Or is
that
that
was in that color in the Jungle Dragon from Ninjago, I think.
Okay.
It might have had different colored tips, but it does look very similar.
No, I've seen the piece before on other sets, but yeah, I don't know if that's a new color or not. There's not really anything that like is eye-catchingly
I
new.
mean, it has
that I
more of
can
the
tell.
transparent clips we mentioned earlier. It
Mhm.
has,
Yeah.
Does have a
other-
lot of them.
yeah, lots of fish in this one.
Yeah, just 5 fish just thrown in there. It's like
Yeah, there's a lot of fish, and it's got 4 minifigures too, so
yeah.
high minifigure count, and then
Well,
a
the
large
last set also
structural
had 4 as well.
Yeah, the last one had also had 4. I mean, this
But
has
these are
more of
4
like the bigger
Navi.
Navi figures, but
Yeah.
I, it's so sad because I think this is a great set. It's a location which we don't have a lot
Mhm.
of. It's
I agree.
Yes.
It's very playable. Like I have on the stream right now a picture from the back, and it's very like accessible. It's very easy to play in, but I just wish it was cheaper.
The Tree of Souls, Zach, did it include any creature builds? Is that the one that came with the
Yeah, it came with the big.
The Tree of Souls
red one?
came with
Turok
the
Mako.
Toroboto,
Yeah.
Okay.
and it came with one of the dire horses,
Oh, okay.
so the
Well,
6-legged horse.
If
yeah.
this would have included a small creature build, I think it would have still brought up the price probably. Just something.
I will keep the price,
Yeah.
change the larger build structure pieces to like a actual brick built structure underneath them, and then
Yeah.
throw in some kind of solid pieced creature build like the dire horse, and that to me would justify the $80 price tag.
Yeah.
As it stands, this includes a lot of really, really cool parts, and I think this would be incredible for mocking something like a brick built
Gakoro.
Gakoro or
Yeah.
or something similar.
Rare conical reel.
Yeah. As it stands, though, I can't personally think of a reason I would pick this up over the other sets in the wave, just because they are offering something similar aside from the wood platform.
I do. I'm really big fan of how they did like the water surface. Like
That is cool.
with a couple of plates, because it's just like you feel it in your mind in a
Oh,
way.
yeah. It's really, really clever.
It's very
yeah.
smart technique. And I wish I hope they do that in more stuff in the future.
For sure. I wonder, what is Lego's, like, what is a brick's life expectancy when placed in or underwater? Because I'm curious to see like if someone got a fish tank and filled it up to display these sets, like
They would don't some of them just float slightly and then just flop back into the water eventually. I haven't really tried anything with Lego before. I know
I
some
mean, there's
sink
there's
and
a
some
couple
float.
sets that they've released that have pretty solid buoyancy. Like
I've
I'm fairly certain they had an actual boat meant to float on water a long while ago. I just more mean like if I hypothetically made a fish tank display for these and submerged them in water, as long as it was like clean filtered water and I like make sure the tank was clean or whatever, the pieces aren't gonna like saturate and bloat and like disintegrate over time,
They
right?
should
I
be
mean,
fine.
they have like Lego builds in some Legolands have SeaWorld or and they have Lego builds in there.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
I'm sure you could do it, but I also heard from a friend who had his sets in the water that it wasn't that great for the bricks. But maybe if it's like chlorated or something, that might make a difference.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like if it was
there's
chlorinated, it would probably
Yeah.
strip the colors from the parts, especially with like Lego's initiative to make more like plant-based plastics,
that's true.
or at
I
least like
forgot about that.
biodegradable plastics.
Yeah.
I mean,
The what's it called? Disney Springs in Orlando. I know has the like the dragon, the big old dragon, just half underwater.
oh yeah.
That's been there
Mhm.
for decades. I feel at this point. That's fine, and it's in Florida weather and water, so
Yeah.
I still don't recommend it though. Don't actually probably do that. It's a big waste of money probably if you don't know it.
I think that price aside, I really, really like this set. It doesn't necessarily offer much that's too terribly unique in contrast to the other builds, aside from this nice, cozy feeling reef home, like the water floating home. I really, really like the aesthetic of this set. It is super, super cool. I'm excited to see how it's integrated in the movie and all that. Everything about this set is really nice except for that price point, which just makes me really sad because if it weren't for that, I would probably pick it up. But that price point is, I don't know. I don't know if it's like General Grievous Starfighter bad, but it's definitely bad, like really bad.
I forgot about that price point. Oh gosh, that was a few years ago. Oh, that was painful. I remember I'm like, I kind of want this one. Never mind. No, I don't.
It makes me feel like they took the royalty Disney and movie price bump from the submarine set and doubled down on this one so that one could have like a more fair price distribution.
Yeah.
I would really love to know the exact process behind what determines a Lego set's price, because I'm sad to say I really can't justify picking this set up. I would be happy to bricklink some elements from this because who knows? Maybe there's someone out there that's looking at this like I am and going, you know what? I'm going to build a scale model Garcoral with it someday, but I just don't want to.
Someday, not now.
I don't.
I like these vinyl
Yeah.
pieces could be great for like sails for boats stuff too.
They would be
For sure.
Yeah.
I love that they
Yeah.
use like the clear parts there for like the netting to
Yeah.
tie it down. Like that's super nice.
But yeah. Do we move on to the next
Mhm.
one? Okay, our
Yes.
next and our final set for today is set number 75579. Sorry for the name, this one's probably really bad. Payakan and Tulkun and Crepsuit. Payakan, the Tulkun, and Crepsuit. That's it. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. It has 761 pieces and goes for $99.99.
Okay. Better price per part ratio than the last set, and admittedly, big fish.
Big fish, big
looks
unique
big
molds.
fish. Mm-hmm.
Probably like 3 new molds for that head construction. It's still quite the price. But
This one, looking at it, I feel it's a little less out of what I would be willing to pay. Like, I still think it's a little bit of a tough sell, but this one I feel is a bit better because of the huge fish whale thing. It's cool. And like, you get the mech build off to the side, the little crab mech, which has what looks to be a fully sealed cockpit in contrast to the submarine. So props for that. Awesome. Again, it's got a solid display stand off to the side, which these ones look a little more bare bones, but I feel like that's just because of what is having to sit on top of them. It's so big that you can't really cram a bunch of things onto the bottom of it.
Like, it's just like it looks smaller than it is because of the big whale, but I mean, it's not as big as the underwater set pieces from the submarine. But yeah.
How do you guys feel about them making such a huge head mold piece just for this set?
I'm assuming they're going to reuse it because I went to look up the name of the creature, the Tolkien, and apparently that's the name of the movie, like the fourth Avatar movie.
Oh, okay. The fourth?
So
you mean the third, right? Or
no, I mean
the
fourth.
Fourth? Okay.
Wait, there's gonna be
It's wild.
There's going to be 5 or 6, Zach. If you did not know that.
How did I not hear about that?
It was announced a while ago. Nikon points out that the left fin is short. Yeah.
I noticed that Nikon in
really
Patreon
cool.
chat says that fin is shorter because part of it was cut off. They actually built that detail into it. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah,
when I first saw the picture,
cool.
I thought it might be an error, but yeah.
That is cool, and I mean it is a named whale creature guy. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what it is, but it is a named creature, which is cool. I think it's the only one we've gotten so far that's actually named, other than the red. I forget the red one's name from the last wave.
The Taru.
That one. I think that's just a generic name too.
I mean, I imagine if they do like different areas of the world, there's always going to be like a big creature. That's the big
like
theming for it.
Yeah,
like the legendary Pokemon.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to assume that the crab suit can mount on the little display stand to the left. Okay.
Probably. I don't know if I'm a big fan of the big molded headpiece. Might be a little heretical of me to say, but it feels like a very Mega Bloks decision. Because I don't realistically see a use for something this large, again, aside from exclusively in mocking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be that they're the template or whatever. They remove the horns or whatever, and then they remold and reproduce the piece, and they can just use it for regular whale builds or whatever. I'm not going to pretend like I understand the design process behind new parts. But I'm curious to see how it would have changed the price per part if they would have just done a brick built head in contrast especially with something this large. I will admit that it makes for a more like organic and coherent looking build here, which aesthetically it is very nice. But I've also seen similar sizes and builds done with brick built heads that achieve the same look. Like, you can already see on the back of like where the tail starts, you get that nice smooth look, and that's a bunch of different pieces.
I think with this one, they probably were in a pretty tough spot because this whale is most likely very important in the movie.
Yeah.
So you want to have it like screen accurate. You want to have it like majestic. It's like this giant creature.
Has there been any creature without a specialized head?
In the Avatar sets?
No,
not yet in the Avatar sets. I think from what I've seen, all of them.
That would make it stand out, and it would probably look bizarre next to the rest.
But at the
that's
same
what I
time, it
think, too.
already does stand out because it is the largest build so far. Like,
Look at the.
I'm sure the wingspan of the Turk Makto is bigger, but it's just like a absolutely massive piece to be custom molded specifically for one set and then never again. Whereas, at least with the Banshees and the Turk Makto, even the other like fish builds that we've gotten, those can all be reused for various things. Dinosaurs, dragons. This one,
but we'll see if they ever will be.
I have that is fair to say.
I have my doubts if they will ever reuse them. Sometimes there's, for example, for Lego competitions, there are sometimes rules to not use pieces that are specific to licenses.
Okay.
So that it could be a case of like these pieces really being specific to Avatar sets. It is. I mean, I'm sure like the pieces for this whale massively are a big part of that price. But I do still think it's the right decision to have these pieces instead of a brick build. Especially since like you need them to open up the mouth like it does in the set. You need them to get the organic shape. And if this is like a very important creature in the movie, you just want to have it look right. So,
did you put the image of it opening its mouth? Because I now understand why it has a
Toe of Plastic put it in the chat here.
Yeah, that is now I understand why it's specialized.
that is fair.
That is really cool though. I did not.
I've been working on a mock of a Metal Gear, specifically Metal Gear Ray from the video game series Metal Gear Solid. And it has a very similar head structure to this. So I know that a mechanism like this is possible when done with just brick built Lego. But I will respect that this is probably a lot easier to incorporate into a build while also making it look nice and coherent, because I'm imagining this would have been a pretty significant headache to, one, make this size, two, incorporate this function and have it be stable. And yeah, that's so I'll respect that. That is fair.
I think if you like, it is the right decision for the quality of the set. 100%. The question is just like, because I do think this is probably a good part of the price. Is those 3 pieces basically. And the question is just like, will that price be too much for people to buy the set?
We'll have to see. I mean, for me, a majority of what will determine whether I buy these sets or not will be basically exclusively how do they translate to the movie? How does the movie make me feel about these creatures, the submarine, and everything in between? Because if I get out of that theater and think, dang, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in cinema, then I'd probably grab this whale.
You might spend the money.
I feel like a $15 difference from normal price per part, I think it's small enough of a gap that I would look at it and go, okay, it's a big build, it's done really well, it's cool, I'd grab this. But whether or not I get this set is just going to be entirely on how well does the movie do and how well do these translate to the movie.
Yeah.
The crab mech is very articulate from the looks of it on the image. It has a lot of joints, has ball joints. It has really tiny hands though. I don't know why.
I like the crab suit a lot. I like it. I think it's a really fun build.
It's a really cool side build. That's another reason why I'd be considering this set here.
It's a really nice. I do like a lot of the military-esque or just human designs for different vehicles, and I do like that about the Avatar sets. I feel like they translate them. Well, we don't know how they look like, but they do look pretty good from what we've seen.
I wish we would see a little more. I wish they would do like an extra wave of the Avatar sets that were just focused around the builds of the human stuff, because like in the first Avatar movie, you get to see the spaceship that they're in that takes them to Pandora, and gorgeous.
That would be
spaceship.
a cool like direct to consumer sets. Just have
For
that
sure.
spaceship. That would be awesome.
Like that spaceship, and then
Yeah.
like I know in the first trailer for Way of the Water they show off like these mechanical building spiders that are working on some of the military structures. Like just there's so much creative design behind the military technology of the humans in just in the Avatar world that I would love to see an entire set wave focusing on those.
Yeah.
They're so interesting to me, and the wildlife is definitely interesting too. I do feel that they are deservedly in these sets,
Mhm.
but man, I would love to see more of the human aspect of it too.
Yeah, I think this is like some of the closest we ever got to military sets in a way.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be the only way we're
You know,
gonna get close to
it's
them.
very like sci-fi and fantasy, of
Yeah.
course. I read BrickFeed had an interview with one of the designers for the Avatar sets, and they said that for the is it the APM suit? Is that what it's called? The mech
AMP.
suit, basically.
Yeah,
AMP.
AMP.
The
Yeah.
AMP makes it.
Yeah.
They gave him like the chainsaw instead of the gun because they didn't want to make it like too violent. But I really like this
And yet they
military
gave it a
build.
chainsaw, like the
Yeah.
most violent melee weapon they could possibly give it.
But they just chop down trees, okay?
Oh, sure. I'm
Yeah.
totally sure that's the only thing the chainsaw is used for, despite the fact that the box art clearly shows it
It is a
using
fight,
the
yeah.
chainsaw as a
How
weapon.
much in a box? It is
but-
cool though. I hope
Yeah.
for more.
I also hope for more. I feel like they did the most iconic stuff for the first movie with like the helicopter and the mech suit. I think the crab suit in this set is in the trailer for the second movie. I'm not 100% sure.
The submarine was like I think in it for a split second
Okay.
from what I looked into it, but
So I think they're probably just focusing on the most iconic ones, which is the smart thing to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably go watch this movie when it comes out, honestly. It's not like I watch anything else. Barely go to the theater as is. It's probably gonna do really well, just like the first one.
I did.
So
I mentioned this earlier. I did see the trailer yesterday in the cinema in 3D, and like the
Ooh.
the visuals are very impressive.
no, that's something I respect a lot about it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
visually it looks really really good.
Yeah, even if the plot is pretty threadbare and basic, I do think that visually it's going to be a very stunning movie to go see. So I think for that reason alone, I'm going to go see it. I don't think that we're going to have another like box office buster like the first one.
You don't know about that yet.
It's just it's
It
a
might
gut
happen
feeling.
again.
It
We'll
might.
see.
It totally
never
might
know.
because
But
excuse me. The reason why the first one did so well is because it appealed to such a huge audience of people.
I think also,
But it's also been such a long stretch of time between this movie and the first one, so
been
I'm
13
curious
years.
to see. I'm curious to see how it handles.
I also think a big reason why the first one did so well was the use of 3D, which was at the time like a new thing. I don't know if this movie has anything like that will drive people into the cinema like the first one, but
I don't think there's anything similar. I'm waiting for movies to start releasing in like VR, so they've got some like panoramic kind of areas where you can go see it at a specialized theater with a headset and I think that's the next step for movies, but that's a conversation for another time.
Dakota, did you go on the Avatar ride in Disney?
I
don't remember
did.
if you...
Yes, and it's a really cool ride.
It is honestly one of the coolest ones with the technology that they use for that ride. They have the whale in it, the big.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Right at the end and in the middle, I'm just like, oh, that's cool. So I recognize it from that.
Yeah. So those were the sets for today. Anyone have any last thoughts about the whole wave?
I'll reiterate again. I feel like the first wave that came, it did really well with its creature construction, and it captured a lot of the iconic moments of the first Avatar movie. And for that, I feel like it was a really, really strong set wave, regardless of price and piece count. Everything about it felt iconic to the first movie. The only thing I didn't like were the set pieces. and that's just because of coloration and size compared to the Pandoran Islands.
Mhm.
Here, the size of the set pieces works so much better. The coloration works so much better. And so I feel like it is set up to be better than the first set wave, depending on how iconic the movie itself ends up being, how it stacks up towards the first movie. So I will tentatively say that I personally think these are better, should that be the outcome of the film. But at the same time, I haven't seen the film yet, so I don't know. I'll look at things like the Turok Makto and the Banshees and say I like the designs of those better, but as overall sets, I like these better. I don't like the prices.
How is Wave
especially
1 selling
of
in your
especially of
areas,
the
by the
reform.
way?
What's up?
Sorry, what did you say?
How is Wave 1 of the Avatar sets doing in your areas?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know. I've seen a few of the sets sell, especially for like older teenage to young adult audiences. I live in a college town, so a lot of what I see sell is more things like Pokemon card packs or collectible type items, technology. But I've seen more of these sell than I've seen Ninjago sets sell. Funny enough, so.
I've seen them in stores. I have no ideas how they sell. I can just check real quick if they're on big discounts.
That is true. That's a good way to check. I think I've only seen one of them in person.
Okay,
So.
they're on like similar discounts as like the Ninjago sets. Since the
that could
price
also
increase.
Yeah.
So
It could just because of that though. It's hard to tell.
yeah. About 30% discounts here on this website I like to use.
I wish we had that down here.
Yeah, that's a bit different in Germany. For the wave in general, I just really like for the Avatar sets that we get like brick build wildlife in these. That's not something we get a lot in other themes except for like dragons and Ninjago.
Yeah,
but
it's mostly only dragons and
Ninjago,
not even dinosaurs.
Nope,
not even.
because like the
Dude, we
Jurassic
had the
World,
really big we had the really big
that's-
T-Rex and then the smaller T-Rex that was brick built.
Yeah, the Jurassic World sets are usually like for younger kids.
Yeah, younger
And
kids.
these are like a medium audience, I'd say. So I'm very happy that we get that in Avatar, and it just like stands out a lot from other Lego themes we get. It's not just like cars, it's not just spaceships. It's not something we gotten like this before.
It's very unique.
Prices are harsh for some of these. The sub is pretty good, for example. Like the Skimwing is fine. I mean, I'd like to pay less, but it's Lego in 2023. But yeah. So generally a good wave.
Pick up the Skimwing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm curious to see how the movie performs.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. Right.
Really well made though.
Yeah.
I'm impressed though that they are like ready to come out in January. Feels really soon.
Yeah, it feels weird that we're already getting 2023 sets revealed. Also something great. These were revealed officially with the trailer for the movie, with great images. That's exactly what we want. Please, Lego, do this with more set waves.
They were not revealed in a very not legal way, which was good. I'm glad. That ruins the surprise sometimes. So when I saw these, it was pleasant. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad because with the movie trailer, I'm very impressed. So yeah, we'll see. The movie comes out in about a month, right? December something, and then the sets come out in January. So
that's some good timing
will be
too.
Fresh and people will be seeing these on the shelves and going, movie.
This is the winter wave, right?
Yeah,
technically.
It's January 1st.
Do you think? Do you think we'll get a summer wave?
That's a good question. Will the next movie be next year
already? No, I think it's 2 years.
Okay.
2 years out.
I think whether we or not we get another wave of Avatar themed sets will depend on like what exactly is in the movie.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, somebody pointed out there's a video game coming out next year. I forgot about that as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do have a lot to work with, I guess, by that point.
There's a lot they could do. I could see them like wait and see how well these first 2 waves are doing,
Mhm.
and then like decide on if they do another wave or wait for the next movie. But I could see them do another one if they do well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't think there's much else to say other than
Yeah, I think
the prices hurt.
we covered it.
But-
Yeah.
yeah. Every time that's just my common theme. They hurt, but I am kind of glad, I guess, that we're getting more of these, and we'll see if we get a summer wave in a couple months.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for listening today. I hope you all had a fun time. Thank you too for joining. I had a lot of fun discussing these sets. I think these were pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This was
Heck yeah.
BrickFeed, episode 138. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Sakota,
I'm Leo.
I'm Starbreaker.
and I see y'all at the next BrickFeed.